But the main thing is, you know if it's happening or not. Okay. And I made that comfortable because that's ordinarily uncomfortable. We talked about the fact that there's an intellectual you and there's an emotional, subliminal you. Mm-hmm. Okay. I made them understand, like if I had a team, a football team, and so on, that this is going to be better for the team, it's going to be better for you, and you'll have your evolution. Because what do you want to have? Dishonesty? Do you want people to think one thing about you and really say something different? Mm-hmm. How is that going to work? So there's an intellectual, okay, we believe it. And then also by having the meaningful relationships. I mean, I don't force them. I create a culture of meaningful relationships so that they have known each other for a long time. They go to each other's parties, or they go to each other's. There are funerals, there are baby showers, there are these things. Not that anybody's I created clubs. I said, any club that you want to create that has more than 20 people, whatever it is, up to $500 per person, I'll pay for half. So I don't care what it is. If it's play softball or play chess or whatever it is that you're enjoying each other's company, or you want to go to ball games or something, I don't care what it is, I'll pay for half up to $500. So nobody has obligations to or something. But if I have that kind of meaningful relationships, so you can talk honestly with each other, I found that very helpful.
And you famously built an idea meritocracy, which in my understanding means where the best idea ends up winning in the company versus just your idea because you're the most powerful person in the business.
Right. I mean, what do I want? I want the best idea to win.
This sounds simple, but again, it's not how businesses operate. One of the fascinations I've always had is that when businesses get bigger and they have more intellectual horsepower if you just added up how many brains they had, they sometimes get less innovative, and it feels like the CEO.
Well, because they become more bureaucratic and more fragmented.
Yeah.
Okay. I found it to be true, and it's well-established fact, that if you get a group of people past a certain size, which is 75 to 100 people, they don't know each other. Okay. They start to become different. And then you lose those relationships, you lose a lot, and so on. I found it because at the holiday season every year, what I would do is I would write everybody notes, long notes in their cards, and I would pick an individualized holiday gift for them. And when it got to be the 67 people, I remember the year, it broke my back. I mean, I just couldn't do it, okay? And I realized that at that point, I was going into another frame, okay? And so it's an organizational reality that you can keep that group, and then what you have to do is then you have those different areas, and you have to create cohesiveness between those different, and cohesiveness, common mission, and how do you do that between that? So like, for example, when we would have our holiday party, where it used to be everybody would be, sort of go in and you have a holiday party and everybody together. What I found out is we had a big arena that we would go to, and I'd have both. I'd have, that department is in that area and whatever, and then they come out and they all mingle together and so on. So there's an organizational thing that you've got to realize in terms of culture and management of that.
It's like villages in a city, I guess. Like you basically build the villages and then... Good
example, yeah.
City. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Our media company's at that exact point now. It's at that 90 odd people.
Oh, okay, there you are.
So when you said 75 to 100, I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about all the things I should be doing now to counteract some of those adverse effects of the culture splintering or relationships breaking down. But I guess you've described it there. Interesting. And I have to say, one of the things that I found to be I'm 33 years old. I just turned 33 last week. It's crazy how often people say that hiring is the most important thing. Yet when you look at what entrepreneurs are spending their time on, it's usually like the product, the marketing, etc. And it's maybe like 1 or 2 hours, in some cases, if they're lucky, on finding truly exceptional people. They often just outsource it to someone else, the recruitment team. When you think back through your career, how important was it to find truly exceptional people?
Of course. Well, I systemized it. First of all, I think that anything I do or one does can be systemized. So I would think, what are the personalities? What are the backgrounds of the people that I'm hiring? What are the choices? How do I specify it? And I got it by also maintaining a lot of data with people. There's a TED talk I did that explains how, like data, everybody's going around and they're operating in a certain way. So I know what people are like. If you know what people are like, you know what you can expect of them. And then I would then say, in a very data way, those people who are successful in these jobs have the following attributes that would create a job specifications for that type of job. So I knew that in that type of job, there would be that type of person I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What works? They work. Okay. Data. And then I would find, that would be my job spec. And so we had the systems, and then we had some people who were responsible for doing that, because you're right, it takes time. How can I interview all those people and so on? But who can you trust? And you're operating that way. And then evaluation process doesn't stop when you hire them. Okay, the evaluation process continues from that moment, and you still learn more about what they're like, and you do that same process and still think, would I still have hired them? And if I wouldn't have hired them in the first place, then they shouldn't be there. And so I have a process and people and process.
Do people change after a certain point? So if you've hired someone in 6 months, in 12 months, and they haven't changed, is it worth giving them another year? Is it worth a performance review?
I found out that for me, the big question mostly, there were two big questions, but the big question is, how do you adapt to my culture?